Hi everybody, welcome very much to the channel. It's Klaus here, and today let's talk about the importance of protecting your space. But before doing that, leave a like and subscribe and use the links on below. So, protecting your space, but not your physical space. We are here talking about your spirit, your space, your personal space, as in your ideas, your identity, your plans, and how you envision yourself and the world. And let's talk about how important and why important it is, and let's identify at least two main ways that you can actively protect your space. So, first, why is it important to protect your space? Because all of us together are creating the world every day. Our visions, our wishes, our feelings, our emotions, basically all of us existing together, we create the world and keep the world moving. Teamwork makes a dream work, and it applies to a lot of levels, to your personal life, to the world as itself, as the whole everybody in the world, you know what I'm saying? And animals too, to a certain degree, participate, but they have a smaller scope, so they affect less of the world, just like you. Like, imagine you are from a specific culture, somebody else that is not involved so much into your culture, they will have power and responsibility, aka creation, but they still can influence just by existing, you know what I'm saying? So, because everybody else comes together to create the world, it's very important that you create your world, or at least you take care of it, and you make sure you, in this existential soup, quote unquote, all of us together, that you creating the world in your image. That's what God, aka all of us together, did as spirits. We created the world in our image to reflect ourselves so we can experience ourselves, right? So the point is to create your world, or at least make the world as much in your image as possible without going crazy. We all know how extremist people can be. Too much individualism is also bad, right? You end up being just a block, just a stone that can't be used or connect with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So that's, I know it sounds simple and it might sound cliche, but there's a lot of different deviations and examples, because if you're not creating your world, if you're not trying to make the world into your own image, you wouldn't be here in the first place, right? Everybody has their own specific reasons to be here, but everybody share that same reason, which is to create a world where they can experience themselves and their desires in the best way possible, right? Then, why, or we already covered why it's, or not why it's important, but like the main goal, right? And then we have a more actual perspective, which is Pluto entered recently. Pluto moves very slowly, so let's put recently into quotes, right? But Pluto went into Aquarius. So what does that mean? That the world itself, aka all of us together, spirits in bodies, spirits in animals, spirits floating in the air, spirits in the water, or every spirit is leaning a bit more into having their own way to think, communicate, analyze, or communicate their own mind, their own unique, rebellious, individual, fresh ideas or perspectives about themselves, the world, organization, structure, networking, association, limits and boundaries that can bring a sense of consistent and security, that can make you free, or at least can make your mind and the way that you travel free. Because then applying it to different life forms and different living conditions, the examples will be more specific, right? But that's the point. The world is, aka all of us, are transforming into a world where everybody can have their own little shop, aka their own little community, their own little place to express themselves in a unique and consistent way about themselves and reality. So that's why it's important in a more specific sense to protect your space, because that's where the world is going right now. That's the wave that we are in right now. Everybody having their own little shop. So if you don't protect your space, if you don't protect and use and exercise your mind, but that's for another video, that's more logical, more air. Here we are being more spiritual, right? But if you don't exert that power, that protection, others will expand or open their shop in your shop, or you will not be able to expand your shop and offer your services to everybody else because just you are not taking care of your space, you're not protecting your space, right? So those are the two main reasons why you should, and in a certain way we're always doing that automatically. That's why certain people get offended if you criticize their body or their house. Certain people let those things slide, but there is always one or two things that if you criticize about somebody, they'll snap. That's how you know the spirit is always in that routine of protecting its space. Because like, bro, like, I'm creating this. You ain't offending this, you know what I'm saying? And then you have the opposite, when you have very familiar relationships, you can roast each other, and that actually brings the bond together, which has everything to do with how deep the connection is. But that's for another video as well. So, two main reasons. Because we, all of us together, create a world in our own image. So if you don't protect your space, you will not create the world, at least the world around you, in your image, aka your experience will be less favorable and pleasurable. And then second reason, we are now transforming into a world where everybody has their own little shop to express themselves in a realistic and unique way. So if you don't protect your spirit, you will not be able to do that and you'll be spiritually miserable, right? So now, how to protect your spirit? There is two main ways to actively protect your space, right? So let's be a bit more specific now, a bit more realistic. So protecting your space now, from this point forward into the video, let's interpret it into a more relatable way, which is your dreams, your goals, your vision of yourself, your visions about the world, what you think it's wrong or right about society, right? Goals that you want to achieve, but it seems unfeasible, or it seems very hard, but you believe in yourself, you just need time to build and accelerate and bring things together, right? So, how to protect that? You can actively engage in war, quote unquote, or you can be a bit more cunning and deceiving, but in a positive way, right? So, how can you go into war? Is imagine you having a conversation, and this can happen with yourself. This can happen with other people, but also sometimes you go against yourself, or a foreign thought comes into yourself, and then you have to actively confrontate that. No, really talk directly to the person or to a part of your mind and say, no, I can do this, I want to do this, you are wrong, yada, 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 right? And that's very plain or very simple to understand. Then you must do it in ways where you don't burn bridges, or you don't look like a fool, or you don't, like we say in Portugal, you don't put the bulls ahead of the carriage, aka you actually are moving. No, you don't put the carriage in front of the bulls, because the bulls are in front of the carriage to carry it, right? So you don't put your words and your visions ahead of the relationship or of your current situation, right? But then the most, not complicated, but the most subconscious or not visible way is the more cunning and deceiving way, positively, which is, imagine you talking with somebody that doesn't really believe you, which is okay. They are not supposed to believe you, right? People will believe you, spirits will believe you if you are already on your path and they like what you do and they want to be a part of it, or they want to be a witness and stand by your side, okay? It's not a problem if somebody doesn't believe in you, unless you are in a deep relationship or you have spent a long time together in the same space and supposedly you have the same goals and you discover they don't believe you. That's fucked up. That's for another video as well, right? But in the end of the day, imagine you talking with, like, I don't know, your mother or somebody from college that you don't really have a deeper connection, or like a cousin, and you're talking about your goals. You want to do something, open a bakery shop, and they think it's silly, all right? You want to go back to school so then you can go be a banker. They think you silly. Something like that, right? In certain circumstances, you don't need to be like, boom, you wrong. No, shut up, I'ma do this. You the one doing something wrong, yada yada. You don't need to do that. You can be a bit more deceiving and be like, oh yeah, things are hard right now, but I think I can do it, or it's not that bad. But internally, you are protecting, you are creating thoughts and feelings where their voice just, it doesn't really matter. In your imagination, you can do it and they wrong, but you don't need to come out as aggressive and warrior-like, you know? Just internally, you can kind of go along with their conversation, right? And give little cues. Yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah, I believe I can do it. Or that person did it as well, so I think I can. You know, in a more smooth way. But internally, you strong as fuck. You killing those non-believers. And that's what you need to do to protect your space. It's not being against them. You know what I'm saying? They have their own issues. They have their own spiritual travels. They're believing in something else. But you believing in yourself, that's up to you. That's your power and responsibility. And then you can just ride along the conversation. You can just ride along the interaction. But internally, we're producing juices and feelings and thoughts where you succeed, where you can do it. You acknowledge the adversities. You acknowledge the path in front of you. But it's not because it's hard or it's not because others didn't do it that you ain't gonna start doing it and try. You know what I'm saying? And you have to keep that image and those feelings going, especially when somebody's going against you and you don't really want to be a warrior and go to war with them, because then their spirit is actually interested. The person, the mind might be against it, but the spirit is interested, because spirits don't see good or bad. They just are. They just experience. They just go into spaces. So the fact they are interacting with you about your dream, your goals, and your situations means that they are already a part of it. And if you can ride along with it and create good thoughts and good feelings, their spirit will be like, oh shit, yeah, I like this as well. And they will help you, even though physically, realistically, it might seem like they're against you. They can ride with you and help you produce those thoughts or maintain those positive thoughts and feelings about your goals and ideas, aka your space. And that's it. Protect your space for yourself, for your own purpose, and not go too much against others only when they're really being assholes, or sometimes you just get full of it, and sometimes you have to be the warrior to show the world, to show every other spirit around you that you mean business. Yes, you kind sometimes, you go along with the conversation, but sometimes enough is enough, and you gotta show the warrior face. So the spirits around you know you are a real spirit, you on the path, and they will follow you. Not follow you in your path, but they will follow your example and walk their own path. And then you're doing God's work, everybody's work. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. Get readings and services using the links on below as well. And I see you on the next time.